Hi, Wonderless Tribe and entrepreneurs. I wanted to get on today and just talk about a question that comes up fairly commonly in the groups and the classes, and that is the question of, do I need insurance if I have my retreat participants sign limitation of liability forms? And the answer to that is, of course, yes, you need both. If you listen to Sherry Rosenthal talk at all about this, you know she adamantly wants you guys to have insurance and liability forms in place, and it's really important. And let me tell you why. Okay, because limitations of liability forms work hand in hand with your insurance coverage to protect you. One or the other will not protect you fully. You want both of them. Okay, so just to understand this a little better, a limitation of liability serves to limit the amount and types of compensation one party can recover from the other party. It caps the liability incurred by you and reduces, now that's the important part, reduces the risk of claim by the other party. Not eliminates, not stops, but reduces, okay? If you have general professional liability insurance, it will cover you if a claim is made against you or your company, and they will also provide a legal defense if you are sued. And this is the really important benefit for you. Not only are you covered for any damages made against you, but they'll also defend you. And if you have a limitation of liability policy in place, what you've done is you've made your defense much easier. Okay? So these two things work hand in hand. So if you have an incident happen on a retreat or at an event or in your business, and you have your insurance in place, and you may think, well, I know I'm really careful. I know I'm not going to do anything to put any people in danger. I know that I'm not going to be inappropriate with anyone. I really don't think I need to have and spend the money on insurance. Well, you're in error there, because you can be sued for things that you have nothing directly to do with if it happens during your retreat or event. Okay? So let me tell you about some things that could happen. For instance, if a retreat participant has an accident at the venue due to an unsafe condition at the venue, they can name you in the lawsuit as well as the venue. You had nothing to do with that, okay? Another instance where it could happen, if a participant does not use their common sense and does something dangerous and gets injured, they can blame you as well, even though you had nothing to do with it. It wasn't at one of your events. Maybe they went off on their own. That you can be named and filed, and they can file a lawsuit against you. If one of your participants does something inappropriate to another retreat participant, can happen all the time, right? You have no control what these people do in the private, and then someone decides that they were approached inappropriately, something happened, and because you're in charge of the event, you're named in a lawsuit. Okay? If one of your staff does something inappropriate or negligent, okay, with someone on the retreat, one of your participants, you're going to be named in that lawsuit as well. So these are all things that you don't do directly, you probably weren't even thinking about, and yet they could happen and really directly impact you. So your limitation liability will deter people from wanting to file a lawsuit. They'll bring it to a lawyer, and he might look at it and go, you know, they pretty much covered themselves here with these forms that you got from Wanderlust Entrepreneur. There's not much we can do. But attorneys will sue anyways if someone's willing to pay them, or if they think that they can bypass it, or they think they can harass you. I'm telling you, if you get the paperwork for a lawsuit in the mail, you're going to have to respond, and you're going to need an attorney, and that alone is going to be expensive to start with. If you have your insurance in place, they step in with their attorney protecting you. They handle everything. And I'm speaking of that of which I know. I had a business for several years. Something happened that I had nothing related to someone I knew. I was named as well. Thank God I had insurance. They handled everything. Okay? And you don't want that stress in your life. Trust me. It is worth every bit of the forms you use, making sure you have people fill in those forms and get them to you, and your insurance is paid up. One last piece of advice. Double check and make sure what your insurance covers and doesn't cover. Okay? Read through the fine print and think about all the things that you do and see that it does, and talk to your insurance agent and tell them everything you're going to do on your retreat, and ask them, am I covered for everything? One of the things you may not be covered for on a retreat insurance for your general liability is transportation. If If you rent a van, you're in cars somewhere, something happens, depending on what you're doing and have it organized, that's the thing you want to check. So go through everything that you're going to do with your insurance agent. Check and see that policy's in place. A lot of times it's a simple fact of they just add a rider, an additional thing to the insurance. Doesn't cost very much at all to the additional since you already have the basic, and you're 100% covered for everything. So it's well worth doing this up front, because once it happens, it's just something that's stressful you don't want to deal with, and knowing that you're protected on all levels as best you can is good. So follow Sherry's advice. She knows that of which she speaks, and then you can really just focus on your mission, your priorities, your enjoyment of helping your people, and having a great time on a retreat. Okay? So till next time, stay safe, enjoy your retreats, love to see what you guys are doing, and much success. Bye-bye.